Let's begin with the disciples who failed to cast out the demon. Many times we fail also to accomplish many tasks or things that we want to accomplish because we have so much trust in our own power, in our own intelligence, to such an extent that we think that is the only thing we need for us to accomplish what we want to accomplish. We kick God out. I have nothing to do with God. God doesn't have to come into the picture. I have all it takes for me to accomplish this. You see how many people run back to God when things fail. They come running to God. I thought I could accomplish this, but I failed. My Lord, what can I do? So God becomes like the last resort. They don't want to begin with God at all. They want to begin with their own intelligence. They want to begin with their level of knowledge. And when things fail, because human intelligence is limited, it's not like divine intelligence. It is limited. It's not everything that it can give you. So when it fails, that's when you run back to God and say, how can I accomplish this? So the first mistake that we make, or the biggest mistake that we make as human beings many times, is to believe in our own intelligence to such an extent that we displace God. We kick God out. We don't want to have anything to do with God. We don't want to pray. We don't want to fast because maybe we are even wasting time when we start fasting or praying. It sounds like something that is far-fetched. We want something more practical, something that our knowledge, our intelligence can give us in the here and in the now. Because this task has to be accomplished now and in this very moment. But then we realize things are not working according to the way we expected that they could work. Then we go back to kneel before God. The disciples are asking Jesus, why couldn't we not cast it out? Jesus says, this is the kind that can be driven out, not by anything. That anything can be interpreted in many ways. Not by anything, not by your own intelligence, not by your own ideologies, not by your own opinions about spirituality, but only by prayer and fasting. That is the only thing you need for you to accomplish. If you had started with prayer, if you had started with fasting, you would have driven out that demon. In other words, that is what Jesus is telling them. So in whatever task you want to do as human beings, the starting point is prayer. Then we can begin to put in other things, science, technology, economics, whatever knowledge, human knowledge we have. But the starting point is prayer. From the disciples, we also look now at the disposition of the father to the boy, who says, I do believe, but help my unbelief. The starting point to everything is faith. Believe in yourself. Believe in God. Believe that what you want to accomplish can be accomplished. I do believe. That is why I have come to you, my God. That is why I have come to you, my Jesus, because I do believe that you can do something about this situation. But then, in expressing our faith or in proclaiming our faith in that manner, we should not drive out humility. Humility is important, that we express our faith in humility and with humility. And that is why this man says, if at all I do not believe, if at all there is something that I am lacking in my believing, in my faith, help my unbelief. Therein lies the virtue of humility. That we come to God to pray in the environment, within the environment or the spirit of humility. Because we realize that we are not enough as human beings to do what we want to do. We need supplementary energy, supplementary help. And that can only come from God. So we humble before God, we humble ourselves before God and say, I do believe, but help my unbelief. In this moment, I am vulnerable. My faith is shaken. I do believe in you. I do believe that you have the power. But in this moment, my faith is shaken. Help my unbelief. Humility. We pray for ourselves that in our pursuit of happiness, in our desire to accomplish tasks in our lives, personal tasks, family tasks, company tasks, church tasks, whatever tasks we have, in our desire to accomplish those, that we may always make prayer as the starting point. Otherwise, we are going to fail. But secondly, as we also come before God to pray, to ask for strength, we need to realize that without God, we are nothing, and therefore humility comes in as a very important virtue for us to make part of our life. If we do all these things, we shall be able to move mountains and hills, because we shall not only be using our own intelligence and our own strength and power, we shall also be using the strength that comes from above. Amen.